Bada bing, bada boom. We are back. Thank you so much for joining us today on this Tuesday afternoon for Roll for Mischief time. The name of the game is Voloheen, Winds of War. The name of this episode, episode 12, is Finnegan's Finporium. And there's other subtitles, including Infinity Wargs. What is that all about? I don't know. But let's find out. And take it away, Carrie.
Okay, so you left the room with the strange mood-altering crystal. So I don't think anybody got what that was. That's fine. And
I just thought it was the Dark Crystal, so
no,
that's all.
No.
or it was the Final Fantasy saving point. That's all I had.
It's another Star Wars thing.
Yep, that one.
Okay. It's what lightsabers are made of. Anyway.
Oh, it's a kyber crystal. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so you come down into the next room. So you follow the corridor around. There's a door. It's just like all the other doors. So at this point, all the doors are more like look exactly the same. No, like
all the doors are the same. Eridu's just gonna smash down every single one of them. At this point, he's like, I don't trust this door.
The way to deal with it. Sure.
That might be his passive-aggressive way of being like, Finnegan, you suck. Broke your door.
No,
There's a major
that's
inconvenience.
Active-aggressive, dude. That's not passive-aggressive. Yeah.
I mean, okay, fine. But it's more the idea that, like, here's a minor inconvenience. You have to replace a bunch of doors.
Okay, so this next room is lined with racks of vials. Some are empty, but some of them contain tiny creatures. Can you all make me nature checks, nature or history, up to you. As to whether you know these creatures.
I'll do a history.
Ridiculous.
I've got a history of 17. Yeah, we know the same thing.
Yay! Agnar's got a nature of 16.
Okay. I mean, you can maybe pick up from the noises they're making and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the creatures that you spot as you walk through, the immediate ones that you work out what they are is there's a tiny owl bear, and it looks a lot like Ellie's owl bear.
Aww.
There's a tiny griffin in one of them that has a note stuck to it that says, "Way too OP for such a low level, confiscated." There's a vial that has a polar bear and a penguin in the same jar together. There's a tiny manticore, a displacer beast. There's one that's kind of half full of water, and it's got a tiny kraken inside. And the last one has a huge magnifying glass pulls down to it, and you can see through the magnifying glass that it's a tiny Terrace. And then at the end there's a bag that, I mean, you don't know what it's made of, but it's a weird thick, shiny, smooth, yeah, I mean, it's plastic. I've never had to really describe what plastic feels like. Bag filled with bees.
Bees?
Bees?
And then there's a door.
Are these obviously dead, kept in, or they're alive?
Oh no, these are alive. These are alive and moving around. They have some of them have little tiny terrarium style little environment.
Eridu is going to very carefully take the kraken and put it in his little purse, very gently.
Aren't you still a bear?
Yes, that's why he's going to be very gentle about it.
2 claws. Oh dear, this can only go well.
I've really wanted to have the scene where he sits down and just clips open the bag and looks inside. But okay. I want him to put the kraken inside because I want to be able to release the kraken. Okay, that's the joke I want.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's carry on.
I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. Anything else in this room?
Agner will be mystified by the description of all of these tiny creatures and just say, how is Finnegan able to collect such things? I am completely, like I said, out of my element. And furthermore, why is he showing us this?
And I'm gonna go find another door to smash down.
There is one immediately opposite the one that you came in.
Then it's smashed down.
And this opens up to another longer corridor. At the far end of the corridor, you can see another door. And you can also see... there are two doors at the end of the corridor. One on the left hand... No, one on the right hand wall and one straight ahead.
Alright, I'm gonna, like, scrape my claws along the walls we walk, and then turn to the one on the right hand and just smash it over, and then walk over to the one at the end of the hall and smash that one down, too. And then look back at the group. Sit down and wait for them.
You're doing a great job, Baridu.
So you have two doors now that are broken open. Which one do you want to go in? Have a look at?
Agner will do a perception check at each of the doors, if that's okay, to try and
Yes.
hear or smell any kind of indication of which is the better way to go. Would you like
Absolutely.
1 or 2 perception checks?
We'll do it on one, but you can have like your advantage or whatever it is. For...
Okay. Oh, not good.
No, no.
It's an 11.
Okay, I mean, there's some things that like would be pretty obvious to you. You smell them almost immediately. So from the door straight ahead, you can smell like burnt, like soot, and there's been a fire in there recently. But you don't feel like a heat or anything coming from it, so it's not like currently burning. To the one on the right, you smell and can actually hear an owl in there. And it also smells like books. You figure it could be some sort of library.
Oh, okay.
You go that way and you hear, who, when you say, Agner. Who are you? Who?
Agner will tell the group very emphatically, okay, we're not going down this door, down this way. And he's pointing to the one that smells like soot and burnt stuff. The last time that I took us in a direction that smelled like that didn't go so well for us. We're going down here, alright? Actually, Halifax, I think you might like what's down here. I think you just might.
Okay.
I am concerned about making multiple stops, however.
Who?
This Dahaka. Me. That's who. You know, I have a sneaking suspicion that one of us might secretly be an owl.
Who?
Who?
Well, that's the thing. I really don't... Wait a minute.
Okay. You can see owls are the people who have eyes that work. The room directly across, like if you kind of take a peek in, it's a singular room. There aren't any doors going. But, yeah. In terms of like you were saying, making stops and stuff.
Mm.
Whereas it looks like the other one is continuing on the way.
So
Then,
then
yeah.
we should go through the one that continues.
Yeah.
Wait, is that the one that smells like soot or not?
The soot one is the dead end.
Ha! Agner's right. he can't even see, and he's picking the right way.
Okay, so you enter a library. There is so the walls are like lined with books. There's a table that has maps out on it, and there's a book that's lying open. There are maps also pinned to the walls. So in the corner there's an owl sat on a little stand. It looks to be a living owl. and there's a book open on a plinth in the middle of the room. Yeah. As you step in, the owl turns to you and says, "Ah, good day, friends. How may I assist you?"
And Egner will step up to the owl. Not real. Wait, no, he was able to tell that there was an owl, but he's not
Yeah.
necessarily connecting that the owl is speaking. So he's just kind of treating the owl as if it were, just some random person who is in here. And he'll say, "Is it a male voice or like a more female voice?"
It's a male voice.
It's a male voice. He'll say, "Oh, good day, sir. I'd like to ask many questions about how you find yourself in such a hellish place here, but, I'm just going to cut right to the chase. We're just kind of passing through. We got to go downstairs and to several levels below, and it'd be really nice to get some directions going in that direction, you know. Just where exactly are we, by the way?
Oh, no, now you mention it, I don't know the exact place. There, we do have one map in inventory. What a library! Well, in an archive. That may help you find your way around. I would be delighted to help you find it.
Yes, we would love that. A map of this very facility that we're in. That would be enormously helpful to us. Thank you, kind sir.
So as you finish talking, you feel this like brush of air and feather as it takes flight from the stand and flies past you and lands on the table. So he kind of moves around some of the maps, kind of watching him do it. You see names of places, such as Ustinok and Estruin. Say words. You also spot a couple of adverts that get moved aside as he's like rooting through them. You see one for an animal shelter run by someone named Rabbit, and another for a fortune teller that has the slogan "Boz's Booth, tell your fortune and your truth" on it. Eventually, he pulls out a map that was kind of pushed underneath the book that's left laid open, which, like, briefly catching the title at the top of the page, it says the Avarian Forest on it. He pulls the map out and passes it over to Aigner.
Thank you very much.
Would you like me to take it?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Leah. Also, am I crazy or is there an owl in here?
The owl is the one that's been speaking, actually.
Oh. I'm sorry if I've offended you in any way, Mr. Owl.
Oh, not at all. My name is Professor Ozimus. It's a pleasure to meet you. I haven't seen new visitors down here for some time.
I wonder how long the stretches of time are between.
Yeah, that is something curious. Look,
You could just shift back into a person, Eridu.
Maybe it's time that we asked him if he's seen the time demon.
The Dahaka?
The Dahaka.
That's the one.
Yes, Professor. Do you know anything about this Dahaka?
May have some information on it in our archive. Allow me to have a look for you while you peruse your map. He flies off to one of the shelves. Looking down at the map, Uh, you get the feeling that you need to attune to it
Hmm.
to be able to read it. So at the minute, it's just showing a blank page.
It's a Marauder's map.
The tuning, huh? I'm not actually
Mm.
familiar with that mechanics.
It's like,
It takes a short rest
Yeah.
to kind of
Ah, I see.
get attached to it.
Well,
essentially.
as a druid monk who doesn't have a lot of magic items, I've got many attunement slots. So
you mean a drunk?
a drunk. As a drunk.
Drunk? As a drunk.
Oh god. Ever do the drunk?
I mean, it could be muid as well, but that doesn't sound as
That
funny.
sounds like a cow druid. I don't. I'm gonna stick with drunk.
Okay.
I'm gonna clumsily plop down next to whomever has the map, forgetting that I'm actually a human or an elf now, and just kind of cringe as my tailbone makes connection with the ground, and then look at the map.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll sit down next to you with the map.
Okay.
Okay, so you're spending the next sort of hour-ish in this room.
Yeah.
It seems pretty safe, like the owls kind of floating around and...
Can we take a short rest?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take
Oh.
a short rest.
We are short resting. You better believe
Oh
it.
yeah.
And I become
Think of a
attuned
good place to
to
do it.
all the things.
So in this time, while you're resting, I'll say you've been kind of like having a little bit of a look around at what else there is in there. So one of you at some point kind of takes a glance of the book that's laying open. It's got very thick parchment paper and it's bound in red leather. It's open on a page, and all of the text is shining in like a golden ink. And it says Book of Champions. And then it has a list of names. And you see what's his names? Azen Cruxis, Hiltfrey, Lilith, Hawthorne, Flaxtop, Reginald Rocastle, Kerez, Zedum, Iova, Demera, Skylar, Talon, Fairwise, Balamora, and finally Athrin Barasax. I don't know how you say that. And a horse, John Bon Pony. um, and then during the time as well, the owl brings over and puts it in one of your laps. A book that's kind of like myths and legends. And he pushes it up into a page where there's a very short section about something called the Dahaka. And there's a sort of an attempted illustration at it, so it's not, you can guess that it's maybe not definitely exact, but it looks to be like a hulking monster. Like this resembles, if you've seen, like stone golems, but made of metal and just massive, with like huge horns, and it's all like in dark black ink, and there's like black smoke put in there around it. It looks like foreboding, I guess.
Okay.
And the text just gives sort of not a lot more than Finnegan's given you. It's just sort of about how if someone, it's rumored or legend that if someone messes around with or time is affected by anything, the Dahaka will track them down and basically will like go across planes and times and dimensions to track this person down, and will stop at nothing to find that person.
So it doesn't say anything about like what it does to the worlds that it's in. It's just about tracking down a single person.
Yeah.
I say
Yeah,
we just
there's not a
let
lot on it, though.
Finnegan.
And once Leah
You-
says something like that, Egner will chime in and say like, "No, I think I agree, because it seems from this description that the Dahaka is only concerned with this violation of the time line or something. I barely understand it, to be honest with you. I don't see how time can be manipulated at all. But if anyone were to be able to do that, it would be Finnegan. And if he were to do that, he would probably do it in a very irresponsible way. And did Finnegan just send us to take care of his dirty laundry? To deal with this interplanar thing that's after him that
Even
he
suggested
doesn't
that
want to deal with?
he suggested he's not our Finnegan either.
Hmm.
So, you will remember. I'm just going to remind you, as players, that in that initial conversation when he got there, he said that this would be like a short like detour from your actual mission of why you're going under here. He said, while you're down there, you might as well get rid of it for me. It's like a win-win situation.
Oh,
So,
right. The thing was
Just before you all turn around and be like, never mind. He did give you another reason to be there.
What was
Also,
our
on the
primary
note
reason?
of Finnegan, the original Finnegan wasn't our Finnegan either. He came from a different timeline.
True.
Is true.
He originally told you that it was an ancient ASMR temple under there, and he thinks that there are some answers to be found that will relate to the current goings on with the ASMR up above and what their plans are.
All right. In that case, I will ask our dear Professor Owl, Ozimus, do you have any information about the Azamar temple that is supposedly around here as well?
Unfortunately not, sir. I only know of this level myself. I was brought in by Sir Finnegan and left here to maintain his library. I only know really what he has told me about this place. I myself am from another time and place.
Uh-huh. And Agner obviously is a little shifty, trying to broach the subject of different times and different planes. It's a little out of his reach.
So the map, then,
That I am
Yeah.
tuned to.
that you've now attuned to. So, as you attune to it, and you come to the end of the hour, the markings of the room start to appear on the sheet. You can see the rooms that you've been through already. You can see a section from the original, like, first few rooms you went to that you didn't go to. You bypassed. You can see where the portcullis was and where you could have gone a different way. And you see all of the rooms and the layouts you've been through so far. You can also see that from here there is so out of this door, the corridor goes down a little bit and then turns to the right. There's a room at the far end of there, and then there's a set of stairs going down. Punch my microphone. And you can then see a lower level, so it says like second level, and there's another picture. And on this one, it's one long corridor with like squares in it. You would probably put two and two together that it looks a little bit like the layout of either like an inn or a tavern, or like a jail cell, or like a set of... You also see, having attuned to it now, you can see yourself on there, and you're marked by a little coloured green dot. You can also see where Leah is, and Halifax and Agner by their own coloured dots as well.
Okay.
But littered throughout the dungeon levels that you went through, you can see these same coloured dots littered throughout. And the one that you kind of focus on immediately is there's a Halifax coloured dot where that portcullis was, where you previously saw.
Right, so we can see other versions of ourselves that have already died.
Yeah. I'm just gonna...
Are there
on.
any other Leah colored dots, though?
There are not.
Okay.
They're
I would also
only
like to
colored dot
say
here.
that perhaps she is gray. That may be her color.
Sure.
I do
Yeah,
think
agree.
that that we were told that he's never worked with another
Right.
Liam.
That's what I was confirming.
Yeah. Oh, making sure
There
he's
is
not
also
lying.
there is, however, a different coloured dot that's not like any of the other ones, any of your colours. And these are all on the second level. And there's one in each of these little room things that you presume they are. And they're all the same colour. And some of them are kind of like, you can see them moving around very slightly or like pacing, but most of them are just sort of still in there. There are 11 of them.
That does seem vaguely jail-like.
And they're all the same color dot.
Yeah.
And it's different than all of our dots.
Yeah. And different to the owl's dot. It's a completely different color. There's no other one.
Yeah, I'm just making that point of it's not like a repeating version of Halifax stuck in all these cages.
Interestingly, though, you don't see a colored dot for the people and the creatures you met in the lab rooms. You don't see like a Wally dot or
because
whatever.
they don't exist. I mean, I as a player because they don't exist, not as a character.
Maybe not.
All right.
Huh.
Well, let's see. Well, we clearly should go this way, pointing to
The way that leads down.
the way that leads down. I don't see any singular one really large, scary-looking timey-wimey dot, right?
Nope.
There's no quest marker saying here's the Dahaka. Damn it.
No.
Well, this at least will lead us where to go.
How much does Eridu share what he's seeing on the map?
I mean, he tries to explain it as best he can. But I don't know that the rest of the players can see the dots. So that's probably going to create some confusion.
Yeah, I mean that's just what I'm trying to figure out, because if you mention the part with the different colored dot and there's like 11 of them in this one area, that would pique Agnar's interest and he would try and get the party to go there. But because he has an idea of who that might be. But if you don't share that, then he won't suggest it.
I don't see any reason not to. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd probably try to keep you guys, especially Agner, who can't see what's going on, as like into the loop as much as possible.
Then he'll interject and he'll say, I think we should go check that out.
Is that like on a sidetrack, or is that?
No, it looks like
Okay.
it's the way to go.
Well, it seems that we'll have no other choice, so we'll take a moment.
It could be
And
very
then-
helpful for us.
I'm going to roll the map up and then turn into an owl, and then turn to the other owl and say, "Whoo!" and then start to fly towards the exit.
You can say, "Oh, very amusing. I do enjoy meeting a druid." As you leave the room.
Everybody's gonna say, "What? I'm a drunk."
Drunk or moving.
Okay. So, leaving the library, you go down the corridor, you turn to the right. Following that along, you come to the set of stairs on the left that they just kind of go down. They're stone steps into kind of darkness. You can see a very dim light at the bottom, but it's not, like, you can't really see much else. And there is a door in front of you as well.
I can't break it down. I'm not a bear.
What's that?
Okay.
I can't break it down. I'm not a bear.
Agnar will open the door. He's right behind
Okay.
that fluttery, fantastic boy Eridu.
Okay, so you're going through the door first. Okay, so you open the door, and inside it is a very comfortable looking room. There are deep armchairs, a roaring fire in the fireplace that you do feel like it's giving out heat. There's like a plush red carpet with wood panelled walls. On the walls, there are stuffed animal heads with handwritten names underneath them. And anyone else sticking the head in, obviously, I don't know, I'm not going to be able to see. You can see one of them under a dog. It says Cujo. And there's another one that looks like a dire wolf that has the word ghost written under it. There's a huge painting portrait of a man leant up against the wall. This portrait is super ugly and scary looking. But it looks like someone's gone over with like thick black ink and drawn a mustache over it. There's a small table beside one of the armchairs. Okay. So there's a small table beside one of the armchairs that faces a metal box against one side of the room. The box has a glass front and extends pretty far backwards. There's a rectangular slot on the front with a series of buttons. And on the table, there's also a rectangular sort of console-looking thing, a bit like what you see in Ellie use to control Ein. That's covered in buttons. On the table next to this, there's a hard-looking case that's like rectangle, thick and rectangle. And you see on the top of it the same image you saw on the poster, and it says RoboCop on it. Next to the RoboCop thing is a golden grail with a bottle next to that that seems to have like a chunk of something icy floating in red liquid, and the label says Godka. There's also a bowl of sweets next to the bottle in a bright wax paper. You can see on the mantelpiece there's a portrait in a little frame of a smiling Triton girl. I don't know if you know Triton, but she's got like seafoam coloured skin and long pink hair and a ponytail, and 2 vertical scars across her right eye. There is also 2 cabinets, like display cabinets. One of them seems to be a potions cabinet, and you can see a bottle that looks like a skeleton and it says Skelligro on it. You can see some sort of serums in there, and then there's a basket of potions that you can kind of already tell the labels are missing from them. And the other display case seems to have these small, they're like vehicles, but not really like you've seen. They look like they're all made of metal, and they have 4 wheels on them. And so there are, like, in front of each one, there's a little plaque next to them with some writing on them. There's also one that is, like, furiously driving into the glass front of the cabinet as if it's trying to break it. The rest of them are motionless. That's everything.
Wow. Well,
it's a busy room.
Well, Egner, as the potions are described to him, he'll say "brilliant," and he'll go over and he'll open the case and start to just grab the random potions and stuff them into his pack.
Just don't use any unlabeled ones.
Yeah. I mean, I will need your help in being able to identify them, but no, I think these could be incredibly usul to us.
I'm sure Agner has never had any issues drinking a potion before.
Ever.
Okay, so, I mean, you can take them all. So maybe just write down that you've got the Skelligro 3 serums. Oh, you put serum of healing. Actually, let's say serum of healing Mark 3 or MK3, and then put in, 6 label-less potions.
Okay.
Is one of them the most dangerous potion in this room?
I mean,
I'll get the reference.
Is it a pink potion?
I don't get it.
You're making Harry Potter references. The most dangerous potion in the room was the love potion. That's what Slughorn says when he's like showing him the different potions. Anyway, Eridu's gonna fly over to the bowl of candy while people are kind of doing their thing. He's gonna grab one of this beak and like tear the paper off of it.
Eridu, don't eat that.
It's already like going down his throat.
Oh,
Okay. So as you eat it, I mean, I'm just gonna tell you what happens. You now have the ability to read lips for 24 hours, but your voice becomes hoarse and raspy,
Oh,
which,
oh,
oh, no.
oh, oh.
Okay.
why though?
Anyone? Anything
Um,
else?
don't think
With
so.
that, I mean, Eridu's kind of like fluffing his feathers up, looking at the stuffed heads. If we
Okay.
stay too long, I'm gonna peck the eyes out of the
Yeah.
picture.
No, Ignor's got the potions, and he says, let's get out of here. We got what we needed.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so you're heading to the stairs. Yeah? Halifax,
Yep.
is there anything that you wanted to do a look at? No.
No, there's so many things here.
Yeah.
Now I'm just
You
gonna
might
go
come
up the
back
stairs.
anyway, so there might be a reason you
Yeah.
come back. Okay. So you go up the stairs and follow them down, and you end up in a long, dimly lit corridor. And it is, as you kind of presumed, it does look like a jail cell. As you start walking down, you realize that there are 20 cells in total. But on the map, you'd only seen 11 dots. When you get to the first one that had a dot in it, you realize that sat in this cell with his knees up to his chest, holding tight, is Finnegan.
I knew it.
I didn't expect that. I thought it was like a bunch of copies of Ellie were down here. Is what I thought. Oh, this is cracking me up. Okay, continue.
And this Finnegan is just rocking, holding onto his knees. If you keep walking, in every single one of these cells that you saw that dot is another Finnegan, and each one has. So you pass one that has been scratching different like maths into the wall, or you like go past one that's hiding with like a bed sheet over his head. There are some that are just staring at the wall. Eventually, as you start getting towards the end, you hear one of them actually speak out to you, and it says, "Hey, guys, yeah, come down here." He appears to be like right at the end of the corridor.
Egnar will go over. Finnegan, what are you doing down here?
Oh, Egnar, I'm glad to see you. You gotta let me out, man. Oh, it's the one that sent you down here. He's gone rogue. He got out and he locked me in here. He's been sending you guys over and over again to your deaths. We've got to get him.
Egnar is going to do an insight check.
Okay.
I gotta see if it'll actually let me see my character sheet again.
Leah's also there, so I'll also do one.
I'm pretty sure he's got proficiency in insight.
Ooh.
I'm not sure. Actually, yeah, I'll just call it like 17 for now.
Okay.
Since that's my wisdom. Stupid character sheet.
Mhm.
Anyway, with the 17, can I tell if he's bullshitting me?
I've got a 21.
Nice. So between you, so using both Agnar's like senses and Leah being able to sort of see him, he looks to be telling complete truth. Like he's looking at you, concerned. He looks relieved that you're there.
So if nothing else, he believes that this is the truth. But all of the other ones looked kind of crazy. So they seemed at least disturbed mentally.
Look, Finnegan, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that there can be multiple ones of you. I really don't know if I can trust that you are the right one. Wait, but if there are multiple Finnegans and they're all assholes, is any of them the right one? Look,
I mean,
I'm,
there's asshole actor, and then there's just there's just that guy. Look, there's a button over there. Press it. It'll let me out, and I can take you back to him. We'll go and get him.
So you're saying that you can get us out of this space without actually accomplishing any of the things that we were sent here to do?
Yeah, he sent you down here to see if you could manage it, to
Put us through our
basically
paces?
send you to your death. Yeah. It's a test. He's tried to get him in here. He tricked me. I need to get out. I need to get out of here.
Can you instead give us an idea of what we're up against for if we continue to go further along, and then we'll free you when we come back?
I don't know. I never went down there. I found the door. Didn't get down there.
So he went rogue after he went down there?
No, he's not been down there.
No one's been down there.
No.
Right.
Huh. Excuse me for a moment, and then Agner will take Leah by the shoulder and hustle them over to Eridu and Halifax, and they'll have a little huddle. Guys, what the hell do we do about this? There's another Finnegan, and he's trying to tell us that we can't trust the other Finnegan.
Eridu will turn back into an Eridu and not an owl. And, well, I don't think we can trust any of the Finnegans.
That's my impression as well.
So what do we do? if we can't trust this one, and if we can't trust the one that actually sent us down here, then what do we do?
I'm going to look at Halifax and say, just kill them all?
Not quite. Let's examine the logic and the clues here. If a Finnegan sent us here, which we are fairly certain that is the case, the Finnegan that sent us here is the one orchestrating things. So everything that we've encountered should give us clues as to what their intent is. They wanted us to go down and investigate some unknown temple and potentially take care of this Dahaka for them. But instead of finding ourselves simply moving through this place, we've had to deal with traps we weren't warned about. We've encountered harrowing things such as dead versions of ourselves. And we've been traipsed through rooms full of artifacts that we've then been told not to touch.
And
It
people
seems-
in boxes or
Yes.
glass jars.
It seems to me that the Finnegan that sent us here is not truly in control, or if they are in control, they're not really working towards their own stated best interests of us getting to this temple and the Dahaka. In that case, I'm inclined to believe this Finnegan that's in the jail cell.
That is sound logic, as logic goes.
Well, there's the other angle as well, that whatever we're running into, it'd be good if we had some help. And then Egner will just walk over to where the button supposedly is, and unless anyone tries to stop him, he'll just try and go press that button.
Do it.
The cage door slides back. Finnegan steps out. Thanks, Agner. Been down here far too long. All right, I've just gotta press a few buttons on here, and it'll open the door, and it'll get us back up the top, and then I can take us right back to where he was. I've got little trackers in them all. I can get us right back to where he was. And he steps over past you, unless you're stopping him. Which is
What about the Dahaka?
what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about, already. I just told you. Is that what he told you to come down here and do?
Something about a timepiece thing.
He laughs. Timepiece. Like I'd ever set off one of those. Come on, don't you think you believe this guy? You guys have no respect for my genius. He steps up to where the button was that you pressed to open his door. And you see him press another couple of buttons. He kind of takes a few steps away from you. And all of the doors of all of the cages down the corridor slide open. And then he keeps taking steps back, laughs, like a madman, turns and bolts down through the door that you're basically right next to that leads to wherever else. He throws himself through there. He's laughing all the way down. You hear it go off into the distance, and then it suddenly turns into screaming. And then it's cut off. All of the other Finnegans, some of them stay on their beds, some of them seem to be too, passive to even realize what's going on, but some of them start to, come tearing out of their cells and running up back towards, the library and stuff. You can react from this, obviously.
Egnar will just flatten himself up against the wall and just look horrified and try and take in all the surroundings and the screams and the chaos.
Eridu,
I made a terrible mistake.
Throwing the map into his purse, and his purse over his shoulder, is going to pull out his sticks and run towards the door of the screaming Finnegan.
Okay.
I'm going to throw my sticks at it.
So yeah, we need to go and lend our potential support, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just run after him.
Well, I guess
Okay.
Egnar's following everyone else toward Eridu then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the screaming is cut short, and you can't hear anything else from downstairs. As you push through the stone door, so this is very different to the other doors that have been throughout the dungeon. One stone steps make their way down to a long corridor. The floor of the corridor is an intricate marble mosaic covered with a long, deep red rug that runs the length of the hallway. The walls are painted with with gold accents and draping red curtains and fabrics. All the way down are glowing candles that light the room. You can't see any trace of Finnegan here.
Was there an exit? Seen how
You can just see a long corridor at the minute.
Just a long corridor.
Finnegan! Finnegan!
What is wrong with your voice, Eridu?
I don't know. It's just been really, I think I need another one of those candies. I just seem to have a sore throat.
Aha. Well, that's what you get for eating random candy.
No, I'm sure it's just the dust in the library or something.
Sensible.
People are going to have such a hard time hearing me. In the playback, they're going to be like, what is that guy saying?
Could I cast light on Tobias and send him down the corridor?
Yes, you can.
Cool. I will do that, so that we can be nice and safe here, and he can just zoom down the corridor.
Okay. He flies. He just continues flying. However far away you can send him, he just keeps going.
Right. Yeah, I suppose depending on the thickness of the air, the particles that are in it, we'll just keep seeing the light for as far as it can go. Because, yeah.
Can we follow?
Start
Well,
walking?
I mean, it looks like this is an infinite corridor. It's probably best not to.
There's not anywhere else. I mean, it's not. You don't necessarily know if it's infinite or not, but
I mean,
it's
Tobias can
long.
go up to like a mile away from you, and you can.
Oh, is it limited to
Yeah,
a
but
mile?
not in like a minute. So,
Or,
Yeah.
I mean, it's either
like,
something
how long are
like
you waiting?
kind of short or it's either
I,
short
I,
or
I
really
figured that
long.
once he was summoned, he could be any distance away from me. It's just.
No, it's a mile.
Is it? Oh,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure there's a range to it.
There's some kind of range to it.
No, I'll have
Yeah.
to look it up. Anywho,
I'll start walking.
if a minute goes by and he just keeps floating, and we see his pinprick of light,
Yeah.
300-400 feet away, Eridu's gonna start sort of briskly walking after it.
Okay. The rest of you going to?
Yeah, if
This-
Eridu's going, I'll
Yeah.
follow.
I mean, this is just like
Okay.
this boring hallway that's like, 10 feet wide
Yeah.
and 10 feet tall. You know.
Basically. Okay. So you walk for about 10 minutes. And then, Agner, you notice a slithering sound. Completely different to what you've been hearing. You've not really heard anything but your own footsteps through the corridor up to now.
Do I get a sense of if it's behind us, in front of us, above us?
It sounds like it's potentially moving along the sides of the walls. So, like, maybe below, along the walls.
Okay.
Both sides.
I will, huh?
It's fine.
Oh, okay. I will say to everyone, be on your guard. We're not
As
alone.
you try to speak,
Uh-oh.
it feels like your tongue is too big for your mouth, and you can't get words out in any sort of understandable language. It's just coming out in like an odd noise. As you do this, no one else seems to be paying any attention. The rest of you can't hear this. Agnes just walking along next to you normally. You can't hear the slithering. You can't hear him trying to speak. Agnes, as you keep trying to like get your friend's attention, the footsteps that you could hear of your friends fade to silence, and eventually you realize that no sound is coming out of your mouth either, as much as you try to do. Quickly, you realize that you can't hear anything at all. You're deaf.
Oh, no. Oh,
The
no.
worst thing to happen
The
to him.
absolute worst thing that could happen to Egner is happening to Egner. He can't see.
What do you do?
He can't hear. Well, I mean, okay. So, does he have any, like, kinesthetic kind of sense? Like, does he still sense, like, that his feet are on the ground, that his, like, that he can, like, have his fists? Does he feel his, like, fingers and his fists? Does he feel stuff?
Interestingly, that feeling has started to fade away.
Oh my
You
god.
now, at this point, feel as if you're walking through just, like, a void. Like, you can't, even if you, like, touch your face, you can't feel yourself touching your face. The only thing that you do realize that you can feel is when you go to, like, pinch yourself, you feel that, like, sharp stab of pain. But that's it. You also realize you can't smell anything. Like, the scent of your friends has gone. You can't smell this corridor. You can't smell yourself. You can't smell anything. You can't taste what the air tastes like. Essentially, all of your senses have gone.
Wow.
Can we see him, like...
Nope. He's just Agner walking along next to you.
Wow. Oh, gosh.
It's like an Egner robot has been, like, supplanted, like, where Egner was, and then the real Egner is, like, in a mental prison or something. Wow. So Egner, after, like, having this huge, like, physiological reaction, to the extent that he can have one of those right now, His pulse is just going crazy. His heart's beating in his chest. He feels like everything just going haywire all at once. And realizing he can't scream anymore, he does the mental version of that. And he just screams in his head as loud as he can. And then he'll turn this feeling of anger toward Finnegan, because that's obviously the only person or thing or something that could be doing this to him right now.
Okay.
Finnegan!
I am going to jump to Eridu now. So as you're walking down the corridor, you feel something brush against the back of your leg.
All right. And kind of as I feel that, I'll have been in the process of turning to Agner to ask him a question.
Okay.
And then I'll feel the thing brush against the back of my leg and like instinctively spin on the spot with my broken part of my staff ready.
Okay. As you look down, you see a snake brushing its way past your ankle. And you then see more little snakes coming, like, racing towards you down the corridor. And then you feel something heavy drop onto your shoulder, and you realize they're dropping down from the ceiling on top of you. And as you kind of start trying to shrug them off, you feel one of them bite down hard at the base of your skull, and you immediately feel woozy. Your vision starts to spin, and you feel your blood run hot through your veins, not too dissimilar to the illness that you've just had. You drop to your knees, and you're incapacitated.
As I'm falling, I'm in the process of saying, I've had it with these motherfucking snakes in this motherfucking plane. Before I can finish my word, which is corridor, I pass out.
And again, to Leah and Halifax, nothing's wrong. As your face is about to hit the floor, you wake up face down in a soft feathered pillow. You feel like you've just woken from a nightmare. There's cold sweat on the back of your neck, and the bedding is soaked. You turn over and you look up at the fabric canopy of a four-posted bed. Looking around, you're in a stone room, well kitted out, with a wardrobe, a dressing table, a fancy stone bath by an open window where sunlight spills in. There's a knock at the door, and a drow enters, dressed in finery. I forgot they've got an accent.
It's very Western.
I can't do it.
I've never done it.
Yeah, I can't get my head into what it sounds like.
Howdy.
Oh shit. Your father seeks audience with you. He waits for you in the dining hall.
I'll look around, and having a momentary feeling like I should be somewhere else. I'll just kind of shake it off and very well. I'll be along shortly. I just need a moment to compose myself.
You've been having nightmares again?
Yes, that must be what's been going on. And I seem to have a bit of a sore throat.
I suppose I can delay him for a few minutes. Let yourself get yourself back together again.
But yes, it'll be just very shortly.
He nods and leaves the room.
I'm just gonna get up and walk over to the stone basin and I guess the bath basin, and maybe there's some water in there. It'll splash over my face. And is there a mirror in the room?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look up in the mirror. Do I look any different than I normally would?
No, you look exactly like you.
Just Like I don't look younger than me or anything like that.
No.
And just kind of stare at the room through the mirror, just trying to put my finger on it. It didn't feel like a dream. And I don't think I trust my father. Why am I... Can I make some kind of check?
Yeah, what are you
I'm
checking?
totally buying into the whole... I don't know, I'm totally buying into the whole displacement. I guess I want to make some kind of check to decide whether or not I go down the venue of completely buying this illusion or realizing that this isn't right.
Insight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Inside if you want.
All right, cool. Well, I rolled I got a total of 7. No, that's intimidation. A total of 19.
Okay.
You tell me what that means.
I mean, the dream was vivid. The people in it, you know them as your friends. They're people that you know, and you don't see them here. So, like, whether or not this is like a truth, because you also know that Finnegan plays around with time and places. Like, you're not 100% on whether it's real, but you think for sure you were just somewhere else.
And this place, is it somewhere that I would call home at some point in my life?
It's not somewhere that you've been before, but you get the feeling that this room, it was set up for you, like it's your space.
All right. Then I'll check to see if I'm still, have what I have, and I'll pull my broken staff out and put it back in the sword sleeves, and then put on a big robe to just sort of cover up everything that I'm wearing, and head down to the audience with my father.
Okay. So as you head through the building, you see elven women kind of nervously keeping their eyes down at the floor and sort of moving quickly through this. Like, it's basically kind of like a castle, a small castle. They look like gaunt and unwell, and incredibly nervous and uncomfortable around you specifically. You meet the drow who came to your door. He's just waiting like further down the corridor for you, and he leads you to the dining room. As you enter, you see your father sat in the dining room wearing regal-looking armor. He says, "Son, come." I mean, probably he has the accent too, doesn't he? But
I've never done it for him.
Okay, cool. Eat breakfast with me while we talk tactics. He snaps his finger, and a young elf girl with a bowed head rushes over and starts to spoon breakfast foods that are already out on the table onto both the plates that are set out. When she moves past you, she flinches particularly, as if she's expecting you to hit her.
All right. I will kind of come closer, go towards up towards where my father is. He sitting?
Yeah.
I'll go up to where he's kind of close to where he's sitting. I'll grab something, a piece of food off the table, maybe an apple or something, and look at it, and then come right up to him and set it down next to him. And then swiftly, as I reach out, I'm gonna grab his throat, and as I do, my nails are gonna grow and my teeth are gonna grow slightly. And I'm gonna grab him by the throat, looking very bestial because I'm using bestial savagery. Then I'm just gonna roar to his face, "Where is my sister? Where are my friends?"
He's like in shock. He was like completely at ease around you before. Son, look, what's wrong? Please, look, just we can talk about it.
Now I'm gonna rear my claws back and slash him across the face as he's in mid-sentence.
Okay.
Go
You
ahead.
notice that there are a couple of drows in the room that seem to be like guards, and they go to move to like deal with the situation. But your father puts up his hand to stay them as you do this, as you slash him. And he looks back up at you, hurt by this. Son, you know what happened to them. You decided what happened to them. Are you feeling okay? I could get. Look, just calm down. We can talk about this.
What do you mean I decided? I was with them a minute ago and now I'm here.
I mean, you were in bed a moment ago. You haven't. It's been what? It must have been six months now that. Oh, I mean, I Agna and Halifax. There's two that you fraternized with for a while. I mean, we pushed them through the portal, their bodies anyway, and I mean, that girl, the mechanic girl, it was your idea to put her to work. I wanted to kill her, but you know, it's worked out in our favor, I suppose. And I mean, your sister. Why are you talking about her again? I don't know, but you know that we sacrificed her. What? She was far more trouble than she was worth keeping her alive. Again, like it was your choice.
My like savagery sort of dissipates and oh no, I wouldn't choose this. I wouldn't choose you. Not above my friends.
Well, look. Perhaps you could go and take a visit to the mechanic girl. You do that daily almost anyway, so I mean, maybe that would help.
Yes, maybe that would. Maybe getting out of here would do something.
So he and the other drows lead you through this city. You notice that all of the people walking around who are like strong and able-bodied and healthy are drows, and like there are elves, but they all look like they're starving and they're ill. As you walk through, your father suggests to you that after this, perhaps we head out to the town square. A public execution going on. Yeah, that always cheers you up. And then he leads you to basically there's like a grate in the floor. He lifts up that grate and you can see that it's just like a stone box. It says, "Oh, she must be at work now. Come with me." And then he leads you around through into a building, which then you go down some stairs into a cellar. You see a workspace that is heavily guarded with drow. There are tabletops with tools out, and moving between these tables is Ellie. But she is like dead behind the eyes. She is like desperately thin. If you were to look at her, you think that like one of the commoners could slap her and it would kill her. Like she's kept her like, and if you ask your father, he'll tell you like she's kept purposefully at a point where if they had to, they could incapacitate her in like one like hit. She is working on things, but as you come over to her, she flinches and tries to move away from you, but at the same time, like stands like statue still, but tries to edge her way away from you.
Yeah, I'll like sort of instinctively reach out as she moves away and look back at Agrian and just say, Leave us. Just all of you. Go.
He hesitates for a second and then nods and then leaves the room.
I'll take Ellie's wrist in my hand, trying to be gentle, but I can just feel her just pulling away, and I'll cup her cheek with my other hand and kind of force her to look at me. And, Ellie, what did I do to you?
You know what you did to all of us. And then she flinches, like as if speaking back to you would result in pain.
No. This isn't me. These are not the choices I would make. Wouldn't sacrifice everything I cared about. For what? Why would I? What would Egrian hold for me that would make me choose this life?
I don't know, Eridu, but I was there. I was there when you killed Gnar. I was there when you killed Halifax. I wasn't there when you killed Leah, but I know about it. And I was there when you told them to put me here. I am gonna jump across because I'm aware I want to try and get in the other two
Okay.
little bits going on. But I'm gonna leave. I mean, I think that's a good little cliffhanger for already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great cliffhanger.
So, Leah, walking down the corridor, everything, perfectly fine. It's a really long corridor.
Everything's fine.
Halifax turns to you, says, Leodin, I want to apologize for what happened back there. I'm aware that me using you as you called it, a weapon, and although I struck you upon your instruction, in hindsight, I perhaps could have done so in a more respectful manner. I would really like to make it up to you. Perhaps I could carry your cloak for you, or are you cold? I could give you my cloak if you'd like.
That's not necessary. I can carry my own things.
Agna turns to you now and says, I'd also be happy to give you mine later if you need it. Also, if you're getting tired, I'd be happy to carry you so you can preserve your energy. We will need you if there's a big fight down here. You are the most powerful of us, after all. And Halifax carries on. Quite. You should preserve your strength. Let us help you. It is our only purpose, after all.
No Colts here. No.
Oh God, what does she do? Oh gosh, what does she do? Well, she panics. Why are you thinking these things? Like, how are you feeling right now?
Well, I feel like I want to make sure that you're doing okay and that you get through this safely. And if I'm honest, Leah, it's a little bit embarrassing. I feel a little bit like I perhaps worship you a little. This is terribly embarrassing. It's like talking to a famous bard. I'm quite starstruck. And at this point, you come to like a junction, and Eridu turns to you and says, which way do we go, Mistress Leodin? And I'm going to jump to Halifax now, again, because we're just at 11, so I'm going to try and get these in, because I want them all in before the end of the thing. Halifax, you hear a thud behind you, and as you look around, you see Eridu drop face first onto the floor. What do you do?
I yell out to everyone else to stop for a moment and run over to Eridu's side. Flip him over, have a look.
As you run, before you get to him, you hit an invisible wall that you can't push through. You turn to call to the others, and you see Aigner sort of hunched over and stumbling around like he doesn't really know where he is, like he's lost. He's sort of arms out and trying to work out what's going on. You move towards him, you hit another wall. You can't get to him. Turning again, you see Leah walking away from you, and she looks like she's talking to herself, like she keeps turning her head. And as you try to move her as well, you hit another invisible wall. These walls, as you start to feel around, feel like they're turned into almost like a secondary corridor. And you can follow them along if you want, or you can stay there.
Yeah, I'll try to follow them along.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a spell magic prepared.
Well, Finnegan would not be happy. You follow the corridor down until you reach a room. From this room, you can see all of the other people in your party, and you can see them struggling. And then a voice comes above you. And this isn't one that you've heard before. And it says, "One must die to save the rest. You decide who. The longer you take, the more your friends are tortured. End their suffering soon, Halifax." And when that voice ends, each of your friends start moaning that starts turning into a scream. And I'm going to end it on that.
Dude.
Okay. Shit just got real. Shit just got very real, and all of our worst nightmares are coming to pass. Just in time for spooky, spooky Halloween season. We have spooky, spooky stuff going on this stream, for sure. So, join us next week. Don't miss out on everyone's worst nightmares. And, yeah, hope to see you guys. Huh?
Just really quick, is next week the week that changes for anyone who's in the US?
Yes,
Yeah.
we should.
Yeah,
announce
absolutely. So essentially, very quickly, what's going on is that Carrie and Drew, who live in the UK, are experiencing a daylight saving time shift 1 week earlier than us here on the west coast of the US will experience. So in order to accommodate for that, they are going to be starting at the same time that they always do, 8 p.m. And we here on the West Coast will be starting 1 hour later than we regularly do at 1 p.m. And yeah, if you didn't get the message or whatever, I will have a little like card or like a little title screen, or I don't know, I'll have something broadcast informing everyone of the little time shift. And then the week after that, we'll have our time shift and everything will be back to normal. And if you don't like the time shift, just blame Finnegan, because that's what he has been doing.
Or alternatively, you could just do the time warp, and that would help.
Oh yeah. All right. It's a step to the left, a little shake to the right, all that good stuff. Hey, thanks for joining us today, and enjoy yourself, and join us again another time soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Roar.